All right, welcome to the channel. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in on today. Shabbat Shalom to those of us who are celebrating the Sabbath. This is time for celebration and rest, okay? And so today it's always a time for truth, though. Let me just say that. It's always a time for truth. And I'm going to rest in this truth, right? I'm going to present to you all. You see the title. I'm going to be addressing lying diasporas and denying diasporas in Ghana, particularly. Okay. All right. And those who are selling land and those who have sold land and those who have purchased land who do not like the truth, and also those who have been promoting and selling land who do not like the truth, of all ages and both genders, because there's only two, male or female. All right. So you don't have to guess if I'm talking about you. If you've been selling land, if you've been doing it and you have done it based on information that we had in the past, all right, I'll discuss that. Or if you have done it before and now, based on some recent shares that I have uploaded, people have been coming back to you and questioning you whether or not they are required to be residents of Ghana to purchase land. Okay, because that's the question. To purchase land, are they now enforcing the law, whether it has been on the books or not? For those of you who say, oh, I have always known this, you haven't always known this, because it hasn't always been on the books. They've updated it on their website as recent as 2023, and they have not been enforcing it, but now they are enforcing it. Okay, they have not always enforced it. For those of you who have gone to immigration, you have an advantage of those who have sat in America and purchased land, which I would guess, based on those who have bought land from those online, more than 90% of you purchased your land without ever stepping foot in Ghana, or you purchased it prior to coming to Ghana at that particular time. Perhaps you've been to Ghana in times past, but you purchased it from somebody you saw advertising it online. So I'm going to show you land that I went and checked out years ago. I'm going to discuss it. You're going to hear me go in between this voice right here and my Gullah Geechee voice. All right, I'm a Gullah Geechee from the beautiful state of South Carolina, and talking to the locals, I feel like local people in Ghana, I feel like they understand me more when I'm speaking with my Gullah tone. Okay. And so that's why you're going to hear me use a different accent when I speak to them. But in this first video, I'm going to show you land that I was searching out for myself. I stated that if anyone was interested in that land, I never told anyone where it was. I never sold this land to anyone. I never gave anyone any information about it because I wasn't completed checking it out. And I'm going to show you a follow-up video that was done as much as 1 year later. I was still checking, and after that I was still checking, and then I'm going to follow up with some other information. Okay, so hold on, because I'm going to discuss and I'm going to address each of you. For those of you who have the endurance to listen to this to gain knowledge, it's not about being messy. I'm not a messy person. But if you are insinuating that information that's putting out there, or if you just bold-faced saying that someone is lying, particularly me, I'm going to come back again with the truth, or I'm just going to share again the truth. Okay, because sometimes after you say the truth, just drop the mic. Okay, but I'm going to just deal with these ones that have been stirred up, the hornet's nest that have been stirred up with truth. And it's not just about land sellers, it's about land promoters, those of you who get paid to promote properties and such. Okay, and whatever your situation is, those who have been at the Diaspora Affairs Office, information, let's just face it, Ghana is a country filled with laws, but it's not always enforced. Once again, Ghana is a country that has every kind of law you can think about, but it's not always enforced. And so the changes that are coming may not necessarily be new laws. The change is that they're enforcing the laws that were already on the books before. Okay, so I want to show you my experience looking at land. This is one of the most bounciest recordings, but I state in here that I'm not a vlogger. I'm just showing you land that I'm checking out. So let's show you, okay, what I was doing here. Hold on one second. The measurements here. So just kind of getting a general idea of what a plot looks like. Plots in Ghana are typically sold in 70 by 100, sometimes 70 by 120, 140, but typically 70 by 100 plots. And so the price ranges. Depending on where you are, you can get plots from 2,000 to 5,000. The further out you go, you're going to get 2,000, or you can get some closer in, but you may have issues where it's in an area. Your plot may not be flooded, but the roads and such may be flooded, so that's something that you may want to consider. And when I say flooded, retains water. And then there are some places that just are not good. I wouldn't say good to build in, because you're always going to have an issue in the rainy season. Now, people live in those areas and such, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you're going to spend lots of money to deal with certain things, or if your plot is located in a certain position on that property. But here we have a stake that indicates the start of the 70 by 100, so I'm going to walk that for you. So this is 70, so starting right here, and I'm going to walk all the way across, and it gives you an idea. So what it's like to have about 70 by 100. I'm still going across. All right, so this is going to be how wide the property is depending on how you turn the house. And when we get to the end of it, I'll show you the stake here. And this is the end of the stake right here, okay? Now, for the 100, I'm going to go in here. Hopefully there are no snakes in here, scorpions, any of those things, because I'm wearing sandals. All right? Okay, guys, so that first segment, the reason why I showed you that is because I want to show you what needs to be done before you purchase any land. And unfortunately, a lot of people who have purchased land from those online promoting land, and even on the ground, you can have people who are not online, but you heard from a friend of a friend of a friend while you were in the US, the UK, that someone here is selling land, and you purchase from them. But you need to be on the ground. And I didn't state to you all in the beginning that I didn't just come to Ghana, okay? And there were people here even before me from the diaspora, okay? People who have been here 50-something years and more, okay? And so when I first came to Ghana more than 20-something years ago, the people that I met most often from the diaspora were Jamaicans. They were the first people that I would meet in abundance, okay? And I met a few African Americans who were living here as well. But for the most part, most of the diaspora that I met were Jamaicans, okay? Now, the reason why I'm telling you that it's important for you to be on the ground is to avoid a lot of mistakes. And a lot of mistakes are even being made by those who are selling land, who are offended by the truth being that even if you knew this law, first of all, you didn't know before 2023. How much land did you sell prior to 2023? And those of you who have indentures that you show to people, you have indentures that people hold that you sold them land before they even came to Ghana, and you gave them indentures. You went and even registered their lands. You showed that their land was registered and they had never ever stepped foot in Ghana. That means they didn't meet any of the qualifications, most often, to even qualify for residency. So we know they weren't residents, okay? Or if they formed, say, took other options, they still, for the most part, needed to be in Ghana to do that and to qualify in many other ways, okay? According to the requirements for residency effective 2023. Prior to that, Ghana would most often tell us that you needed to be in Ghana for at least 5 years, and you needed to show that you are invested in the country by owning land. Some of that information is even on the Minister of Interior's website, okay? But that is dealing with citizenship, okay? But I'm telling you guys, before you can even become a citizen, you have to be a resident. What's happening now is that a lot of people have, like I said, been doing things because they could do it. They've been doing things because Ghana was not enforcing the laws. They were doing things based on information that we had received from immigration officers, and we were doing things because we could. We were registering land without being residents because we could. All right? And so, once again, just because it was law and just because you knew it does not mean it wasn't enforced. It was enforced. And if you knew it, why weren't you sounding the alarm, telling people, look, you can't purchase land unless you're a resident of Ghana? Why were you selling land, promoting land, and taking money from people who were not residents of Ghana? Answer that question. Okay, even if you knew, why were you selling land, promoting land, and taking money from people who were not residents of Ghana? See, sometimes it's best just to be quiet and correct and adjust yourself from there. Because if you try to insinuate that somebody's making something up as if it's new and that they're lying, I'm just going to present the truth. And that somebody is me, I'm going to present the truth. All right. And if I have already spoken the truth, I'm just going to ignore you and restate the truth, point to the truth, or ignore you altogether. Okay. Because I've said what I had to say, and I don't come on here because I need to come on here. Okay. Now, this land that I'm showing you guys, this is a second segment of the land that I went to see. So I'm showing you this because I want you to hear some of the things that I said in here about the purpose of us buying land and things that we could do. I thought it was a good piece of property, but I did further investigation. And if you keep listening, you'll hear me on the ground talking to local people about it. And then I did further investigation after that. And you'll also hear that I didn't just do it in 30 days. More than a year I was investigating this land. And it's a good thing I did because of things that took place in 2024. So hold on. And I do appreciate those of you who are still listening.
After I got through showing you the plot, look who came for a visit. All right, so they're in the back here, in the background. I did speak to, when we got here, I told them that I could smell cows. Although they weren't in the scene, I could smell them. Now, sometimes cow manure smells like soil that's been turned up. So they, I think, thought it was just soil, but I knew I smelled cows, okay? All right, so there they are, cattle in the background. Now, they're not coming this way, so whoever's leading them, I don't think they're coming this way. I can walk a little and tell you. Hold on. I hope y'all are enjoying these videos. I know they're not really, listen, I'm not a vlogger. I record, I push record, okay? So, and stop. But hopefully, you're enjoying them, okay? Wow, these are big steers. I better be careful. What color am I? I guess they're not trained. Oh, there's a herder among them. Cowboy. All right. So, wow, they're huge. Let me zoom in. You see that? I'm not getting too close, so I don't want any charging at me, honey, because that would be a sight. But anyway, I hope y'all don't mind. I go in between Carolina, all right, Georgia, Gullah, Ghana, standard English. I hope you don't mind. All right, and sometimes a little tree. All right, so here we go. You can see there's a light post down there as well, and the road goes on smoothly, leading them this way.
Okay, guys, so I paused this so you can see what the width looks like. I know that it doesn't look like I was moving much on the previous shot, but a typical steer or cow is about 7 to 8 feet in length. So you can see how many can fit in this space right here. Believe me, that's pretty wide, 70 feet. So if you just measure 70 feet, you'll see that. I'm going to try to catch the 100-foot shot in just a second. Thanks.
But we'll see in just a moment. And I don't see a lot of manure now. I do see some droppings of manure that indicate that they... So this is...
Okay, so I'm not sure if my cursor is showing this, but if you look to the far left, you're going to see a piece of a pillar that's marking the beginning of the length of this property. So it's 100 feet here. So this is actually a good shot. So from the left all the way over here to the right, it's 100 feet. So you'll see that's a pretty good shot. Hopefully you can see that, okay? And it's much better than me walking through. You have a better view right here. So let's continue on.
Just one piece of property. I haven't decided for myself because I have other interest and such, but for investments, I think it's a good investment if you want to get one for yourself and to live on, first of all, and also if you guys are forming any type of real estate investment club, I think and I hope that we will also be conscious of the people in the area and always wanting to do things to help the community as well. So not just taking or colonizing in another form, but also contributing to the community in the area, adding police stations, libraries, which are very inexpensive to do. Really inexpensive. Okay, so you can see that they went this direction, and you can also see that there's some more burning that they're doing, clearing out.
All right.
So they're no longer bringing the cattle
here
this way.
that I gave you some information about the land. I also gave you information about how I, felt and still feel about us and how we should, move to the diaspora if that's your choice, if that's your leading. That's another thing. I don't tell people that they have to move to Ghana, they have to move to Africa. It's, get out of America, get out of this place. You move as the Most High leads you. Okay. Now, I shared this more than 5 years ago. As you can see, how many people liked it, including myself. All right. Now, I'm going to show you another video, which is a more informative video where I go and I do some more legwork on this particular property and surrounding properties and some of the things I found out. And you're going to hear me speaking in my Gullah tone, okay? Just a little bit of it so that the people can understand me. Because if I speak as I normally speak on these shares, and most often as I speak, unless I'm speaking to Gullah people and we're flowing in that Gullah flow, most people would not understand me in Ghana. They understand my son because he's spent a lot of time even from his childhood. And I tell him all the time that he has a natural Gullah tone. All right. But he also knows how to, as we say in America, code switch. So give me just a moment. I'm going to pull up that video and I want you to see I followed up on this video. And see, this is the purpose of me sharing this with you is to show that there's a lot that goes on in purchasing land. Some of you who are replying and saying, oh yeah, you have to be a resident if you want to register your land. Why would you sell land to people who don't want to register their land? That should be the #1 priority, to do their search to see if they can even register it before they even give any money to anyone. Everybody wants to register their land. If not, why would you build a house on it? But unfortunately, there are people who are selling land, fellow diaspora who are promoting lands, and some of them claiming they're not selling land, but you taking money from them, you sending indentures to people. You are the middle person. You're handling it. Once you take that money, you are selling land. Once you don't point them to the people who are actually selling land, you are selling land. And if you're not registered as a business, that too is a violation of Ghana's law. It is illegal to operate a business or company or even work as an individual without having a work permit in Ghana. All right. Who doesn't like it? Doesn't like the truth. But one thing they can't do anything against the truth. You can't do anything against the truth. You can only do things for the truth. Okay. As the word of Yah says, you can't do anything against it. So I'm going to continue to speak the truth in love. But if the minute you start saying that somebody's lying because they're telling the truth, or insinuating that we're making stuff up or promoting stuff as if it's new, if it wasn't new, if it's not new, why didn't you tell the people? Why are they just hearing about it now? Okay. Okay. It's new from you. It may not be new from the books, but it's new from you. Okay. And if I were selling the land to them, I would tell them. I would tell them what I'm currently being told, which many of us, and what I had to go through. Okay. What I was told by my own people in immigration and so on and so forth. No problem. As long as you own land or you, have been in the country for more than 5 years, you can prove that you have been contributing to Ghana. All right. I have a long history with doing work with, actually from the first time I came to Ghana, working with I'll just say NGOs. I don't have to give too much information about myself, okay? But I can tell you that all of the qualifications that they were telling me, I met, all right? And the ones I didn't meet, then I could still meet. I met at least one of them that would qualify me, okay? But now they are enforcing this part of the law. If you go back beyond 2023 and you will see that it was not there. So let me go on and show you this. Okay, so hold on. Now, also, you see a good number of people came to watch this share, right? Well, let's see how many people watch videos where you're giving them good advice on things that can prevent them from getting into situations that a lot of them are in at this time. So let's see. Welcome to the channel. My name is Ama. I want to thank you guys for tuning in on today. And so I'm going to take you along. This is actually a combination of several clips that I put together just to give you an example of what it's like to do some legwork on the ground when you're looking for property for yourself or for others. Okay, and so this is a clip where you'll hear me discussing some things about the area, the name of the owner. I also mentioned that I had been there the previous year, communication with the agent, so on and so forth. This is something, guys, that must be done before you purchase any property. Do your homework, legwork, everything, all right, and then some. Because I took some of the advice of the people, I took their advice, but then I also discovered something. So if you hang into the end, you'll see what I discovered in the end. All right, I'll tell you. I'll just put a note here so you can see it. All right. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful day. Shalom.
He said the Obadi family, that the family is right here.
Yes.
Okay. And he said on the inside, do you know where their house is or where they are?
What?
The family that owns that land. Yes, he said that they're right here.
Okay.
Obadi, do you know them? No? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Opari.
I think he said Obadi. Opari.
Unless you go this way. Estate inside.
To the estate inside. Okay, and then we'll find out. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go the estate inside, the security is there.
Oh, at the security.
Yeah.
Oh, inside here.
Yeah.
Okay, I did see the security gate.
Yeah.
So let me go there. Okay, thank you. Okay. Let's go back this way right here. I want to go. He said it's the inside, but I want to go this way. And okay, so I have the family name, and we've already talked to them last year, but I want to make sure, and then I'll have the agent come back out here just to check and make sure that everything. Okay, but this estate is separate from the others. Yeah, I remember them, and I know they sold a good bit of property on the other end years ago. Yeah, so they're a good company. So I just want to make sure that this one over here is on the up and up. It's also good. Okay, but no land guard problem.
No longer. Evidence sold here for the family sold the land.
Oh, so they sold the land.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a fence between this one.
Okay.
The one left before the fence for others.
Okay, for others to buy. Okay, and they buy directly from the family. Okay, excellent. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Let me see if I have something here. I don't know if I have anything here. But thank you, huh? Okay, God bless. Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, so as I stated in the intro, I was going to show you where, you can do all of this. You can go and do the land search. You can do a thorough land search. You can speak with the owner. You can speak with agents. You can speak with people in the community. You can speak with people in surrounding estates, security guards and such. I did all of that. But I also walked the area. At one point, I stated in this clip that I wanted to go someplace else, even though he told me that I should go back in, and I did go back in and speak with the security guards, but I went and did something else. And while I was out there walking the property and in other areas, I found the signpost where there has been litigation brought against the owners of the land. Doesn't mean that they cannot sell it. They have sold before. I know the company that they sold another estate to, and that place was fine. But it just means at that time there was an issue. All right. So this is why you need people on the ground. This is why
you see where I was talking with local people there. I talked to a couple of them. All right. And we were driving around, and you also hear that this has been going on for more than a year at that time of the last recording. Okay. So more than a year. And it actually extended beyond that. Thanks to Papa Nana for closing the borders, because we went back for 2 weeks. We were scheduled to come back in 2 weeks. I did some further research, and we were scheduled to come back in 2 weeks. And I had already planned, after doing that thorough research, fast forward, this didn't just occur in 1 year, 2 years. All right. After doing a thorough research, we realized that, okay, everything's clear. This land has been registered, and people have purchased the land. Well, it turns out 2024, last year, that tract, along with thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of acres from various suburbs, let's call it that, in Accra, have been overturned due to the land being owned by another family. This was already in court. It had already been ruled on before, but it turned out that they ruled on it again. Now, although those people have the land registered in their name, those lands have been deemed, those indentures and leaseholds have been deemed void. Void. And this impacts thousands of people. Now, 99 years is what the Ghanaian gets. You get 50 years. I get 50 years. Those of us who are not citizens get 50 years. 50 years does not take long. Those of us who come from America or any place else, Caribbean, and your family owned land, you know what it's like to own land. You know a lot about land. So it gives us an advantage when we come to Ghana. We know how land works. Even though it's not a leasehold system in America, we know how land works. All right. And those of you who say, oh, yeah, if you don't pay your taxes in America, you lose your land, then pay your taxes. Okay, it's as simple as that. And that's another thing. Many of these land sellers are telling you that you don't have taxes in Ghana. I've done shares on that. That's a lie. You pay taxes in Ghana. All right. People don't come and listen to those kind of shares. You see this one right here? In 2 years, including myself, I like my own share. Yes, I do. All right. 96 people have seen this, right? But let's see how many people saw this video where I did this looking for land for myself. And also telling you that if you wanted to invest, I thought it would be a good thing. But I never took money from anyone, never sold it, never promoted it to anyone personally, never presented it to anyone in any consultation, because I was still doing research. But you see how many people flocked to this, right? 9,800. They run to these kind of shares. But anything when you're giving them knowledge, they don't run to those. And that is an issue, because we set ourselves up for people who are also new, just like yourselves. All right. And I say yourselves because I've been here, coming back, history of Ghana for more than 22 years. There have been people who were here. There were people who were here before me who were diasporas, mostly Jamaicans and some African Americans. Okay. There are African Americans who have been here for 50-something years, 50-something years and counting. All right. And not just Ghana, but other countries. So please, when we try to share something with you, when we say change, for those of you who are saying, oh, people who are the truth, people who are putting things out there, they're saying that it's new. It may not be new on the books, but it's new to you. All right. It's new to most of your people. And if it isn't new to you, why didn't you present them with the truth? Why didn't you tell them the truth? Why were you selling land to people who never been to Ghana? let alone Africa, never even been to Ghana. All right. Why were you selling land to them? Why have you shown yourself presenting indentures and registering land for them and sending indentures and having them to sign? All right. And they haven't even been here. You must, if you knew that they needed to be a resident of Ghana, why were you selling them land? And then to say things, someone said, you know, that's only if you want to register your land. Who doesn't want to register their land? You have actually started the process of registering their land. You have actually registered some of their lands for them and shown them online. And those people were not residents. Did they all agree to say, yeah, we want to buy land even though we're not qualified to even acquire land without being a resident? Did you tell them that? Did you say, hey, I'm going to get this land for you, but you're not lawfully allowed to acquire land without being a resident? So it's really illegal for you to purchase land, all right, without being a resident. And it's illegal for me to sell you land if you're not a resident. Okay. Did you tell them that? See, what we need to do is learn to accept the truth. And some of you, I think Ghana pulls out that nature in you. Well, they don't pull it out. I think you like Ghana a lot because there's a lot of lawlessness here, even though there are many laws. Ghana has a law for everything. It's just that there are people who don't enforce the law, but they will decide to enforce it. If you watch news enough in Ghana, you will see that they will come back and enforce laws. They will let you build your house next to a waterway. That's another issue. Some of you are building your houses right next to waterways when Ghana has 100-foot, 50 to 100-foot setback. And even of that 100-foot setback or 50-foot setback, 20 feet, particularly beaches, 20 feet of that 100-foot setback belongs to public. To the public. It is public domain. It is for the public. You cannot put your wall up there. It is for the public. 20 feet, the first 20 feet belongs to the public. Look it up. So we need to be honest. And I see that truth has stirred up a good bit of you. That's good. To come out and start speaking truth. That's good. Reaffirming what I'm saying, just rewording the same thing I have said. All right. I know that some of you just, you sneak and watch my channel, even though the views are low because the channel is shadow banned. It's not a matter of me uploading enough. It's shadow banned. I know when my channel first got shadow banned, my other channel, which is about 13,000 on that other channel, which was me sharing the word of Yah, but I also was telling people about Africa back then as well. But I know what caused that channel to be shadow banned. I got a permanent strike for it. All right. But listen, some of you just deny the truth. All right. You don't want to be honest and say, yeah, we've been doing this because they have allowed us to do this, but now they are enforcing the law. And so, yes, you will have to qualify to be a resident. And to be a resident in Ghana, you must be a business owner, which is very expensive. If you want to own that company yourself, okay, I hope you got $500,000. All right. $500,000. Or if you want to, depending on the type of business you want, if you want to offer a service business, it's $500,000. If you want to offer a retail type business, it's $1 million. Now, some of them will calculate that price using a 1% charge. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. So it's a lot. Or you can partner with a Ghanaian. All right. But even in these partnerships, I might share that. I may not. I got other things to do. Okay. Some of the partnerships are just bogus partnerships. You heard the Minister of Interior. Okay. And saying how some people just help them do things and just falsifying documents and so on and so forth. If you want to spend 7 years, okay, 5 to 7 years, depending on which route you go, falsifying documents, help yourself. Okay. I'm just not into that. And shamefully, there are people who call themselves and identify themselves as Israelites and know that we are Israelites who are doing the same thing. Now, what is the same thing that they're doing? Teaching people the easy route. Okay? Teaching people the easy route. And the easy route, we would all like to go the easy route, but is it really easy? Is it really easy? If you have to compromise, if you have to lie, if you have to, grease some palms and so on and so forth. And then the easy route has been blocked now. Okay. So now what you going to do? Okay. So I'm just saying in the easy route is selling land, going down there,
getting it registered, but not telling them that, oh, by the way, the law, since you said you know it, the law says that you have to be a resident of Ghana. Okay? That's the easy route to get money in your pocket. That's the easy route to get them starting putting money into projects that will later be challenged. It will be challenged. If you don't believe that Ghana will enforce laws, you need to look at some news. Okay, local news. They will knock your house down, and they're knocking down houses of Ghanaians. If your house is built within any waterway, near any waterway, it could just be a stream running next to your house. There are setback laws. Those of us who own land in America, we know setback laws. For example, my property in America, all right, our family land in America as well. We have to be at least 15 feet from the cove or any waterway, but mostly coves and stuff. We have to be at least 15 feet. We have to keep shrubbery built up, things that will slow down the runoff of water into that cove or into any natural stream or water body. Okay, I know also that the land has to perk properly when they come to test it to see how high the water table is. There's so many things that Ghana has these same laws. But because we are not making ourselves knowledgeable of it, we think we can just come here and just, follow them in their lawlessness. You're going to be the first target, the very first target, believe you me. Okay. So anyway, if you knew that land needed to be registered, why did you sell land to people? Or if you knew that people needed to be residents of Ghana, why did you sell land to non-residents? If you knew that, why did you sell land to non-residents? Why didn't you insist at first, nope, you need to come and become a resident before I sell this land to you? If you knew that. See, we condemn ourselves with our own words. Sometimes it's just best just to be quiet and say, you know what? It appears that Ghana is now enforcing the laws. Before, they told us if we are here for 5 years, we were able to register, become, citizens by showing that we've invested in the country, by purchasing land or supporting nonprofits and all of these things. Some of the remnants of this stuff is still on the Minister of Interior's website for those who are interested in becoming citizens. All right. So I'm not just pulling this information, out of the air or my behind or any place else. Okay. I'm telling you things that were enforced at that time, things that were permitted at that time. But now, once again, as the president has says, they are resetting. And a part of that reset is that they're enforcing. And not only resetting, they see the influx of foreigners, not just us from the diaspora, but many people coming to Ghana. And so a lot of it is capitalizing on these on the influx by enforcing the law, because they can get a whole lot more money by enforcing the law. All right. And a lot of it is people now coming in and asking questions that probing questions that's causing them to look into the law themselves and make changes. They've changed their website from the price of the medical exam. These are updates that were made since 2023. It even tells you these are updates that have been made prior to 2023. There was a fee. 2019, if you were here in 2019, the fee, that there wasn't a physical medical exam that was required at that time, not like it is now. Then you need to know what's involved in this medical exam. Do I want these people to do this stuff to me? Do I want all this stuff done? That's another topic for another day. All right. So I'm going to end it here, but I'm going to say, please don't come and challenge truth unless you bring, fruit that show that your works have been in truth. Because if your works have been contrary to the truth that you claim to know, then your works have been a lie, have been deception. All right. Have been withholding information. Like many of you are withholding information about the current state, the dangerous state of Ghana's water. I've shared that, but how many people watch it? I don't even think it's 120, 30 people that have watched that. All right. On the poisonous state, cyanide, mercury, lead, arsenic. And some of you are in places that are closest to it, closest to the most poisonous water. If you're in the central region, if you're in the western region, if you're in the Ashanti region, and now if you're as close as Amansaman, you can see the result of Galamsey. So when we do share is telling you test your water. Don't count on boreholes. Do you know that there's lithium mining? People are on here, and I'm talking about Ghanaians too, selling land next to lithium mines. If it's so great and such a great investment, why don't you buy it? Do you know the dangers of lithium? Lithium mines. When even they had little signs up telling you not to sell certain pieces of land because this is reserved for lithium mining. But people have built houses right down the street from land and sold houses. Ghanaians have sold people land where diasporas have built a house or houses where they're going to be doing lithium mining right in that general town and area. If you're counting on boreholes, they're going to be drawing water. The process of lithium mining draws water from everywhere that it can. And then it spews it out and it separates the lithium from all of the other things. The same thing with salt mining. The same thing with sand weaning. There are some land issues in central region, right close, Castlewa area, Potin area. I knew about that Potin area a long time ago when it was $900. When that land was $900. But I can tell you, maybe in another share, why I didn't purchase it. It's a good location, but there are a number of issues. And until those issues are addressed, I said, no, I won't touch it. Some of you are purchasing land from people who have been sued concerning the very property that they have, but you don't know because you don't know what to look for, or you don't know what you're looking at when you see it. It could be right there in plain sight. But when you've been in Ghana long enough, or you're a Ghanaian, you've been in Ghana long enough, oh, you recognize something. Oh, that's a sign that somebody's being sued. But you don't know. And unfortunately, people don't take the time to learn. If it were up to me, we would all have to go through a class. We would all have to go through some certification before we can purchase any land, or definitely before you can sell any land. You can take it online or offline, but some education needs to be done, and some unification also needs to take place. And also there's just some other things. We need to stop acting or behaving as if we didn't come from anywhere. All right. And whatever law passes, we're just going to try to see how we're going to fit into that law. You know, some unreasonable thing happens. We're going to, amount is released out there. Yeah, let's charge them $250,000. Do you know that there are segments of your population now of people that are coming to your country? This is to Ghana, that you invited here. You invited here. Brafi. That means come home, come. Right? But I always say that they should change it to Fasika Bra. Bring money and come. Fasika Bra Bra. You bring money and come. Because that's what it seems like. Unfortunately. So whether you're okay with the bring money and come or whatever, please know the total cost of the money that you need to bring to be in Ghana the right way and according to their laws. Okay? Ghana is a beautiful country. I don't regret my experience with the country at all. But you need to always maintain a status that will allow you, if necessary, to leave. To leave. Oh, so you have to decide if you want to be, you know, I say burden for a lot of people with thousands of extra dollars a month during your residency period. Okay? Not a month, per year. Okay, because it's annual. You have to do the medical exam. You have to qualify under one of those things if it's business. All right. There are going to be fees. I know, I've spoken to people recently. I know from my own experience. Okay. I don't have to come on here and lie. So please do your due diligence. Don't be in a rush. And if you're here, stop acting and behaving as if you didn't come from somewhere. And we as a people need to unify and make our concerns known to immigration. Make our plea known if you want to plea or plead. To say many people came here. Those who weren't here, like I said, I've been here, and my history with Ghana has been more than 22 years, okay? But for those of you who came here under the year of return, you need to let them know you came on invitation thinking that they really meant
year of return, not year of visitation. All right. Another discussion for another day. Thank you for tuning in. And thanks to those of you who endured to the end. Shalom.